From WNEP, the news station. This is 2025, a look back.
Good afternoon and thank you for joining us. I'm Jon Meyer. During the year, I travel across northeastern and central Pennsylvania, learning about the history of the area, coming across some interesting story, and just exploring the beauty of this great state. Today, we take a look back at a few of those stops on the Pennsylvania Road from 2025. The first few months of the year were pretty cold, leading to great weather for skiing. I took a ride down the slopes at Elk Mountain. I am taking you skiing, but you don't have to gear up. We'll do all the work. You just come along, load on the lift with us here at Elk Mountain in Susquehanna County. We are taking you for a ride. And as we make our way up the mountain, a quick pause for the reason why we thought we'd bring you skiing this winter, because we keep hearing this.
Well, I live at Elk Mountain in the wintertime. Absolutely love it. The conditions this year have been fantastic.
So keep that in mind as we prepare to get off the lift. We've made it to the peak at Elk, and you're about to see one big reason for the love of this sport: the views. From up here, it can feel like you're on top of the world, towering over the Pennsylvania landscape below. Then comes the other big reason: the thrill. Ready? Here we go. Susquehanna is one of the steepest slopes here. We're not going just straight down. That speed's too much for me. So instead, we glide back and forth down the mountain. I almost feel like I'm soaring down the slopes. Our skier friends help me describe this.
Sometimes it's like, oh my God, why am I doing this on the steeper stuff? But it's just very freeing.
It's exhilarating. It's so much fun.
The actual skiing is solo, but on the lift, time to chat with family and friends, or just enjoy the views on the ride up the hill, the beauty of the outdoors in the wintertime. And going up builds the anticipation for going back down. Each resort has a variety of slopes, some thin, some wide, some steep, some not. Winters around here can be long. This can make them go fast, in many ways.
It's just a great time. It's better than sitting home in the wintertime.
I can't wait for winter. I love winter. So much fun.
Most of you won't go that far. Most of you probably won't do this for yourself. But maybe now you appreciate a little more why some don't mind all this cold. Oh, that's ski season. Well, earlier this year, we had a stretch of days with temperatures in the teens and single digits. And look at the spectacle that created on the Susquehanna River. The river at Wilkes-Barre spent weeks completely frozen. We got a closer look with the help of Skycam 16. You can see the ice chunks that were piled up on top of each other. That ice jam went on for miles. The river remained frozen for nearly a month. Finding ice in the middle of summer? Well, that's not as difficult as you might think. There's one place here in the Commonwealth that is icy even in the warmest of days. I stopped at the Coudersport Ice Mine. What is so common in Pennsylvania in January looks so foreign in July. But these icicles were formed this summer. This wintry scene created in this season of heat and humidity.
Well, welcome to the Ice Mine, everybody. My name's Cameron. I'll be your guys' tour guide.
This is the Coudersport Ice Mine. The Meyer family making this vacation stop off Route 6 in Potter County.
We say this isn't a Disney ride, so you're not going to hop on a train car and go through the mountain, but it's a geologic anomaly. It's a wonder of the world.
And feel free to walk all the way up to the ice.
On a day with temperatures in the 80s, we step through a door taking us from summer into winter. The temperature quickly falling 40 degrees.
Can you feel it, guys?
Yeah, it's definitely chilly.
It's a hole in the side of a mountain surrounded by ice, and peering down inside this 30-foot deep hole reveals that wintry world.
What's really neat is we stand out here outside the gift shop, and although we're in the forest, it's 80 degrees, 85 degrees. When you walk through that door here, it's going to be 40 degrees, and then when you look down into the mine itself, it's going to be in the 30s, and it's making ice.
Gary Buxton's family owns the ice mine, a natural phenomenon, now a tourist attraction.
It is literally, it's a space in Potter County that grows ice in the spring and the summer, and then the ice melts in the late summer, the fall, and the winter, and then it starts all over again in the spring.
That's another crazy part. There's no ice here in the winter.
It makes no sense. We tell everybody, if you think of the mountain like a sponge, so the sponge absorbs cold air in the winter time, and then it releases it in the spring.
The heat and humidity of summer hit the freezing cold air. We heard some of it melting, but some icicles still growing.
For whatever reason, like the last 3 weeks, underneath the observation deck, you can see the icicles from 1 week to the next. They are longer, the ice is thicker.
And this is truly outside, that door we went through just to protect the ice, an attraction from animals and troublemakers.
I would have thought it would have been enclosed, but it's neat seeing how it's open to the air.
That makes it even more mysterious. The ice, first discovered in 1894 by explorers searching for silver, a legend around here for decades, reopened as a tourist stop 13 years ago.
In a given season, we'll see folks from 45, 46, sometimes all 50 states, and then around the world.
It certainly was frozen fun and fascination for our family. And the ice mine posted this month in December, no ice there in the wintertime. Fascinating. Well, our area has some pretty unique history. The Poconos having a reputation for tourism. One restaurant there showing how the region got that reputation next here on Newswatch 16. A restaurant in Monroe County has become a bit of a museum, showing off what the Poconos looked like in the past. So I thought it would make a perfect stop on the Pennsylvania Road. They are images of Pocono hotel history, the grand old resorts, some maybe not as grand, but all representing how the Poconos has been welcoming tourists for nearly 2 centuries, and all lining the walls of Casa's Pizza in the Cresco area.
This house is still standing.
The project of owner Dave Buchter and his longtime employee, Susie Eckhart.
It's hard to even imagine like the tourist spot that it was back in, in the early 1900s.
Casa's Pizza has been in the heart of all that tourism a long time. Dave has owned it for 40 years. He got this idea visiting Cooper's in Scranton.
And I started thinking, like, I learned a lot at Cooper's by looking at the pictures and reading stuff. And I thought it would be interesting to do something like that here, and that's when I started talking to Sue about it. And next thing I knew, she was gathering pictures.
It's just really fascinating. I really enjoy it, and I would have never said that when I was in school. I have history.
She'd find photos, then want to find the information, or vice versa. Many of the old images include a description.
And even if I find an old ratty postcard and it might have some writing on the back, it's all a clue. So it's kind of like being a detective.
The types of tourism have changed dramatically here over the years. So has the landscape. What was the impressive Pocono Haven Resort is now a Burger King at the 5 Points intersection.
Here's the circus coming to town.
She found quirky Pocono history too, an early circus, a famous play written here, and how about a group of guys who called themselves Ye Old Monks of Swiftwater? Not monks, just drinking buddies in the 1800s.
You get a taste of history, you get to see some things that you never had a chance to see, or maybe only your parents saw, or your grandparents. So that was the interesting part of it.
This is an evolving wall, and we're going to keep working on it and fill in more gaps, and I don't know, maybe you'll have to put in an addition.
Dave may not be ready for that, but he does love serving up a taste of history with his pizza. And in Lackawanna County, a renovation uncovered part of history. You might know the Dalton Do-It Center store for its classic commercial that has run on WNEP for many years, but you probably didn't know about its hidden history. The hardware store and lumberyard used to be the power station for the Northern Electric Railway, a trolley line linking Scranton with Binghamton. Doug LaCoe and his son Scott bought the hardware store from the owner who originally transformed the old building. The LaCoes are working to preserve history while moving the store into the future. During the spring and summer, all kinds of flowers burst into bloom across the area. And coming up on Newswatch 16, we're going to look at a grand showing of those blooms. It's on the Pennsylvania Road. Every year, a park in Northumberland County shows off a stunning display, a big bloom of flowers. And all that color is great to think about during this cold time of year. Here's that stop on the Pennsylvania Road. The sign welcomed us to Keithan's Bluebird Gardens. But we didn't need to see that sign to know we were in the right place. Towering rhododendrons right along Front Street are the real welcome to this special spot, tucked into a busy part of Sunbury. Almost like they are announcing the show that is underway inside the garden, a show of colorful blooms. Stepping into this relatively small 1.5-acre park is like an enchanted escape. A sidewalk loop lined with rhododendrons and azaleas. And early May is when almost all of them are in bloom. This garden was once the hobby of Charles Keithan. Now it's a City of Sunbury park, open to everyone to come experience what Keithan created. He cultivated exotic azaleas starting nearly a century ago. Some of the blooms still so unique to see. The colors, the shapes, the beauty. Azaleas and rhododendrons are some of the biggest bursts of color as we start the growing season. Sadly, they don't last long. It looks like we were a few days late for some of the grandest glory from the azaleas, but the way Keithan designed it, the rhodies pick up when the azaleas start to fade. We visited on a rainy day. While the sun may help the flowers shine, the color really popped in all the gray. And the drops of rain on each flower added to the awe. Even in the rain, we took our time to take it in, to look and listen. There's a sense of peace provided in the park that feels walled in from the outside world. With all the trees and other plantings, it's clearly a special spot to visit anytime in spring, summer, or fall. But we're now in the short window of time when this park is at its peak. We joined a 103-year-old World War II veteran in Susquehanna County who was on a mission earlier this year. That mission involves walking. And we went along for one of his daily strolls, one of my favorite stories of the year, coming up on Newswatch 16. Earlier this year, I visited a World War II veteran on a mission in Susquehanna County. He made it his goal to walk several miles a day. And in March, that added up to 136 miles in that month alone. So I just had to go for a stroll with him on the Pennsylvania Road. You lead the way.
All right. You're going to walk with me?
I'm going to walk with you if that's okay.
Sure.
103-year-old Harold Gary usually walks alone on his daily strolls in Montrose. What a thrill to join him. So how many miles do you usually do a day?
Anywhere from 2 to 5, 6. I got 6 yesterday, but I did that purposely so I could tell you.
103 years old and pushing to do an extra mile. And after a bit, he parked the cane on his shoulder, walking with ease.
Well, when I get out of bed in the morning, my hip is hurting me. And by the time I've got a half mile in, I feel good.
So you keep on going.
So I keep on going.
Harold walks a loop around his apartment building downtown. 4 loops make a mile. He walks the halls inside in bad weather. But joining Harold was about more than getting some steps in. We took a journey through his life.
My dad died in 1935, and I went right to work in the fields.
He worked the family farm that didn't have electricity or a tractor until he was a teenager.
There was a jeweler here in Montrose that recommended Navy rather than be drafted and not have a choice.
He served on Navy patrol bombers searching for German submarines during the war. Harold came home. His brother did not.
I don't like things not level.
On Harold's apartment door, a gold star for his fallen brother Dan, a blue star for him. Inside, a tribute to Dan on the wall, and a photo of when at the age of 101, Harold visited Dan's grave in Belgium. At the age of 102, Harold got his honorary degree from Drew University.
So is each line a mile?
Yeah. And if I had a half mile, I'd put a dot down next to it.
Okay.
So as he showed us his calendar marking the miles walked each day, we're not surprised to see this centenarian push on in yet another mission. He started keeping track in 2019. A stroke that year sidelined him only a bit.
You even get a little bit of elevation in your walk too, climbing up here.
Yeah, I do, and that's good for me.
Listen to how many miles he's recorded.
Figured it up here just a week ago. I'm up to about 5,500 and some miles now.
Wow. Like most World War II veterans, Harold is humble about this and all his accomplishments.
Do you think of yourself as a hero?
No. No, other people say I am, and all I did was fill a hole during World War II. Somebody had to do it.
Someone his age doesn't have to go for a walk every day, but Harold Gary does. And I will always treasure this stroll we shared. That was such a great walk. I will definitely treasure it. While grieving a loved one, a Luzerne County woman created something that would help others do the same. And coming up on this look back, we're looking at the setback she faced and how that wasn't going to stop her. The wind phone next. In Luzerne County, a woman's attempt to help people grieving their loved ones had a major setback, but she was determined to keep going. She put up what's called a wind phone along a trail in Dallas, and as I found out, she wasn't going to let anyone get in the way of her goal.
They took a rock that I painted that said "Sprinkle kindness like confetti," ironically. They chose that rock of all the rocks, and they smashed the whole part of this. Glass was everywhere.
Tara Yamelski shows us the restored wind phone. This is what it looked like 2 weeks ago, smashed by vandals just over a week after she put it up along the Back Mountain Trail in Dallas.
There were a lot of tears, there were adult tears, there were children tears, and I think my kind heart couldn't comprehend that there are people out there that are not kind.
We'll get back to the vandalism, but let's focus on the reason for this wind phone. A simple phone, not connected to anything or anyone, but a spot you can dial up a lost loved one.
To dial that number physically again of your loved one, just to me has a whole new meaning. And once that phone hits your ear, I can't explain it unless you actually use the wind phone, but you truly feel, or at least I do feel, like you're actually calling your loved ones.
Tara found this idea online as she was struggling with the loss of her mother, Karen Werner.
I think the biggest thing for me is being a mom without your mom, because she's the first person I would, pun intended, call, the first person I would text. She was like my go-to.
At first, Tara put a wind phone in her backyard, and suddenly her grief journey took a big step forward.
For me, it's just that one step closer to actually feeling like she hears me, she knows what I'm doing, she knows I'm calling her. Do I need a physical phone? No, but does it help my heart kind of heal? Yes.
So she decided to share the healing and wind phone concept with others, putting this one along the trail.
At the ceremony, when we introduced the wind phone to the public, people just grabbed a pen and started writing.
Words to lost loved ones line the back and fill note cards inside.
As you could see, people have been leaving messages. Hey, Dad, Mom, brothers, sisters, they were leaving me messages.
The phone's post stands empty for now along the trail, but when we visited, the wind started gusting above. Almost like a call waiting to be answered. There are still signs of the vandalism here, and that rock used to damage, but not deter.
It will be back because it was working and it was doing what my heart wanted it to do. And so it will be back because I will never let darkness overturn light. So you will see it again soon.
The phone will return with cameras and those above watching. This peaceful spot soon home again to conversations so many grieving have longed to have. All they have to do is pick up the phone. And she has since put the phone back up. It is there, it is helping, and it is healing a lot of people. That's it for this special edition of Newswatch 16. I look forward to seeing what we can find and who we'll meet in the new year. Happy holidays, everyone.